Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Janavallabha Girivardhari Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Girivardhari Yashoda Nandana Brajajana Ranjana Yashoda Nandana Brajajana Ranjana Yamuna Vanachari Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Janavallabha Girivardhari Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Girivardhari Yashoda Nandana Brajajana Ranjana Yashoda Nandana Brajajana Ranjana Yashoda Nandana Brajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Jai Om Vishnu Pad, Paramahamsa Paripurjakaracharya, Sutta Sri Srimad. His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Anantikoti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki jai. Prem Sikaho Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Dvaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Sri Sri Radha Krishna Gopi Gopinath Shamakund Radhakund Giri Govardhan ki jai. Sri Vrindavan Dham ki jai. Navadvip Dham, Mayapur Dham ki jai, Jagannathpuri Dham ki jai, Gangamai ki jai, Jamunamai ki jai, Srimati Tulasi Devi ki jai, Bhakti Devi ki jai, Samaveta Bhakti Vrinda ki jai, Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Shri Radha Madam Mohan ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gaur Premanandi. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Shri Guru and Gauranga. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Krishna Bhakti Vedanta Swami Namaste Saraswati Gauranga Charan Shri Krishna Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Continuing from Canto 10, Chapter 9. Chapter 9, Mother Yashoda binds Lord Krishna. Text number 4. That's number 4? Text 4? Okay. Thank you. Tam stanya kama asadya. Tam stanya kama asadya. Matnantim jananing hari. Matnantim jananing hari. Krihitvadari mantanam. Krihitvadari mantanam. Nyashadhat prityam avahan. Nyasidhat prityam avahan. Tangstanya kama asadya. Matnantim jananim hari. Krihitvadari mantanam. Nyashadhat pritim avahan. Tangstanya kama asadya. Matnantim jananim hari. Krihitvadari mantanam. Nyasidhat prityam avahan. Chant, please. Maharaja, please. Tanya kama sadya. Dhadhi Matanam Nasijat Pritimavahan. Vaishnavis? Anyone else? Unto Mother Yasoda, Stanyakama, Krishna, who was desiring to drink her breast milk. Asadya, appearing before her. Matnantin, while she was churning butter. Jananim, to the mother. Hare Krishna, Grihitva, catching. Hari Mantanam, the churning rod. Nyasadhat, forbade. Pritim Avahan, creating a situation of love and affection. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada. Translation. While Mother Yasoda was churning butter, Lord Krishna, desiring to drink the milk of her breast, appeared before her, and in order to increase her transcendental pleasure, he caught hold of the churning rod and began to prevent her from churning. Purport. It's a two-sentence purport. Krishna was sleeping within the room, and as soon as he got up, he became hungry and went to his mother. Wanting to stop her from churning and drink the milk of her breasts, he stopped her from moving the churning rod. Shri Chaitanya Vishtam Stapitamina Bhutale Swayamupagaramayam Dadari Swabadandikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavam Shra Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Hagana Vaganakam Kuntam Sadivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakamitam Shah Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshware Rishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hare Kriye Mancha Gopadurubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Vevacha Patitanam Bhavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shiva Sri Gaura Bhakti Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. The translation once again. While Mother Yasoda was churning butter, Lord Krishna, desiring to drink the milk of her breast, appeared before her, and in order to increase her transcendental pleasure, he caught hold of the churning rod and began to prevent her from churning. So this, I'm sure you are aware, is the beginning of the Damodar Leela, which is one of the most beloved pastimes of the Brajbasis, all Vaishnavas, practically speaking, regardless of where we live, because it shows the intimate relationship, how deep the loving relationship is between the mother of Lord Krishna and Krishna himself. And I don't need to get into the depths of the pastime because I'm sure you know it quite well, and it will be explained very thoroughly in this chapter. So I'm going to speak a little bit about the relationship between mother and son, specifically Mother Yasoda and baby Krishna, and how that relationship is unique in the sense that Mother Yasoda is always Krishna's mother. However, I mean, no one else can ever have that relationship, that responsibility, that service. However, any one of us, so many people can have a relationship, a parental relationship with Krishna, either as Krishna's mother, as Krishna's father, by following in the footsteps of Mother Yasoda. So I'll speak on two different verses that I found that support the principles that are enunciated in this particular verse, and also a third topic I will speak on the passing of a god sister back in New Vrindavan. So let me see here. So Krishna is engaged in this particular pastime. As a matter of fact, every pastime, because he wants to increase the pleasure, the happiness of his devotees. On the one hand, Krishna is Atmaram. He's self-satisfied. He does not need to derive his pleasure, his ecstasy from anyone or anything else. We have to, because we're tiny. We are finite particles of God. Tiny gods, actually, Prabhupada often says, but very, very limited quantity. Just like a drop of water from the ocean has the chemical qualities and properties as the entire ocean, but the ocean has qualities due to its vast size that this individual drop of water cannot have. Just like a drop of water cannot have whales swimming in it, sharks, and so many fishes swimming in it. It's not able to make waves and crash into the beach. But the ocean is able to do these things and so many other things. So in a similar manner, Lord Krishna, due to his infinite nature and infinite qualities and infinite energies, he's able to do so many different things. And we can simply assist him in engaging in those pastimes, serve him for his pleasure, and therefore also partake of his pleasure, or we can choose not to do so. We can choose to separate ourselves from Krishna and thereby suffer. So we're coming from that position, wanting to get over to this position, being faithful, devoted, dedicated servants of Sri Krishna. And I can understand and see from my experience in this temple that you are serving the deities of Radha Madan Mohan, Lalita Vishaka, Krishna Balaram Sandipani Muni, Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Maharani, Shishi Gaurashakti, and Nrsimhadev Bhagavan Prahlad Maharaj, and your spiritual master. You're serving very nicely. I can see this. I'm really convinced of this. So you are already serving for the pleasure of Krishna. You are already trying to increase Krishna's pleasure. However, our steadiness might not be there. We have our ups and our downs, where sometimes we are feeling a little taste of ecstasy, and sometimes we are maybe feeling a big taste of dissatisfaction or whatever. So we have to learn to become steady so that we are no longer affected by the waves of the material energy, which are constantly affecting and afflicting anyone and everyone who thinks on this body. Srila Prabhupada would call this skin disease. Someone is thinking, I'm an American man. Someone is thinking, I'm an Indian woman. I'm an Indian brahmachari. Someone is thinking, I'm a demigod. Someone is thinking, I'm a dog. But these are all based on the bodily conception of life. And when we are able to steady our consciousness, not being afflicted by happiness or distress, and just be steady in our service to Krishna, service to the Vaishnavas, then we will gradually transcend the modes of material nature, and that is the neutral stage. I mean, that is a long way above, at least where I am now, but it is only the neutral stage. From there we have to further progress to approach the ocean of the nectar of devotion and learn how to swim amongst the waves and the aquatics within the ocean of the nectar of devotion. And that has been very nicely presented by Rupa Goswami, Sanatana Rupa Goswami, thank you very much, and translated by His Divine Grace. So we have access to that knowledge, to that process, by the mercy and grace of Srila Prabhupada and his followers and servants. So, going back here, Krishna is Atmaram. He does not need anyone or anything to be exceedingly ecstatic. However, as stated in this verse, in order to increase her transcendental pleasure. So Krishna, he wanted to increase the pleasure of his devotee. Now, as devotees, we simply serve Krishna the 24/7, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week without break, because we don't want to take a day off. We don't want to go on vacation. We don't want to have a holiday, because we're getting so much nectar in serving Krishna simply for his pleasure, and we don't want to stop. I remember when I was a young devotee, I joined the movement in New Vrindavan. Young means I was 20 years old at the time, and I realized at that time when I first joined that Krishna consciousness is very broad and exceedingly deep, and I would not be able to understand and experience that in a few weeks or even a few months of living in the temple and serving with the devotees. So I decided that I came to Janmashtami, I decided I will serve until spring and then make the decision. Do I want to stay and live with the devotees or not? It's where I was planning on going before I moved into Vrindavan, to South America, and I understood South America is still going to be there, and when spring comes, it's not going anywhere. So let me just dive in as best I can and just get the full experience of Krishna consciousness. I never left, actually, so I'm still getting the full experience. So we serve Krishna with all of our resources, with all of our energies, are financially, intellectually, with whatever skills we may have or not have. We utilize everything within our control to serve Krishna so that he is pleased. But Krishna is not simply the taker. He doesn't just take. No, because he's Atmaram. He's self-satisfied. He does not need any of our service. But he wants our love. He wants the love that's dormant in your heart. It's there. The love of Krishna is there in your heart. And he wants you to experience that, to get in touch with it, to let it expand and unfold and open up. Because every one of us, not just us, but every living entity in this universe and in the unlimited of other universes, or to speak of in the spiritual world, every one of us has a unique relationship with Krishna. It's unique. Unique meaning no two individuals have the same relationship with Krishna. Although we can say that there's 5 primary rasas, 7 secondary rasas, and everybody's relationship falls into one or more of those relationships. However, with the same with colors, it's said that there's 3 primary colors: red, green, and yellow. I forget exactly what they are. Anybody know what they are? You have Madame Pijai. And there's 3 primary colors. Just like there's 3 modes of material nature. But how many different hues and shades, different colors can be produced from those 3 colors? It's unlimited. How many different shades and tones? Like this, you could say this jacket is blue. But those who are more knowledgeable about specific colors will say, well, no, it's a combination of blue and this color and that color, and like this. So therefore, in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says that material energy is endlessly mutable. Only 3 modes, goodness, passion, and ignorance, but they can combine in unlimited fashion so that different colors, different tastes, different flavors can be manifest. And as Krishna also says, and those 3 modes, they're always competing for supremacy. They're never at rest. And being transcendental, rising to the Brahmabhuta platform, means we have to be above the influence of those 3 modes of material nature. And that comes either by Guru Kripa or by elevating our consciousness through our practice of sadhana, so that we understand, I am not this body. That is the main symptom of someone who has achieved the Brahmabhuta platform, that they know that I'm a spirit soul. I'm not the body. But as long as we are thinking that I'm the body, we have so many duties and responsibilities to perform, simply because we are under the influence and control of the 3 qualities of passion, goodness, and ignorance. So Krishna, his mood is to increase the pleasure and the happiness of his devotees. And as this Damodar Leela unfolds, we will experience, we will see how Krishna does that, and how this different, how this pleasure increases, and it can increase to an unlimited degree. As Satyavati Muni explains in the song Damodar Ashtakam, that the inhabitants of Vrindavan, the Brijvasis, especially those who had a parental mood, they were drowning in ecstasy, in pools of ecstasy. I spoke about this a few days ago. That the ecstasy, the happiness that they derive from the childhood pastimes of Lord Krishna is incomparable. It's incomparable. And the Brijavasis who relish that mood, they try to taste it more and more and more by engaging in serving Krishna in this particular mood, more and more. The more we try to please Krishna in a satisfactory manner, so in a manner that is approved and given to us by the spiritual master, the more Krishna is pleased, and he will simultaneously please us. And so therefore, there's not a competition, but there's a cooperative effort. We please the Supreme Lord, and he is so happy that he also gives us pleasure. He is not the taker, but he is the giver. And through the agency of the bona fide spiritual master and the disciple succession, the Supreme Lord is offering us so much pleasure, so many benedictions, so much mercy and grace, that speaking personally, I'm unable to comprehend it, and I'm also, unfortunately, I'm also unable to fully accept it. And because of that, I remain in the bodily conscious of life, or man, I'm American, like that. This is my misfortune. But if we simply try to appreciate, be aware of the gifts that are coming to us, are being offered to us through the chain of disciplic succession, coming indirectly from the Lord, directly through His representatives. If we can be conscious and aware of that, and have cultivate a sense of gratitude and appreciation, then we can actually enter deeply into relationship with the Lord. If we're not grateful, we'll become contemptuous. You know what contemptuous means? It means that we will not care for the great gifts that we have been given. There's an expression in the West: familiarity breeds contempt. Meaning, if I'm familiar coming to the temple, I know the different deities that are here, and I know what they look like, and this and that. And if I don't really understand the value of darshan, when I present myself to the Lord so the Lord can see me, if I'm not conscious of that and the value of that, then I will just, I don't need to go today. I don't need to go see Krishna today. He'll be there tomorrow. And when we turn in that direction, that mentality will lead us to a state of contempt. I don't care for Krishna. He's whatever. We just, our mood goes from service to against. So we have to be very careful to guard ourselves from that happening. And the main mechanism for guarding is gratitude. So I mentioned earlier that the position of actual mother and father of Krishna, although Krishna, he is Amaram, he does not need to take birth, but when he does appear, he accepts someone as his mother, and someone as his father, and those positions are eternal. That Drona and Dara are eternally the parents of Krishna when he appears in this material world. Although they also appear with him prior to him, and they take different names in different incarnations, but that post of the actual mother and father are eternally taken. Obviously, it's not available to anyone else. However, having said that, we can also have that mood, that parental affection, that parental love. That's available to anyone and every one of us. And we see examples of it in Krishna book, where Srila Prabhupada talks about the elderly gopis, the contemporaries of Nanda Maharaja and Mother Yasoda, how they also had parental affection, motherly affection, fatherly affection towards Krishna, but not as deep, not as intimate and as deep as Mother Yasoda and Nanda Maharaj. However, having said that, we can also experience that same relationship, regardless of our form. Some of the cows in Vrindavan, they also developed a motherly relationship with Krishna by offering their milk to Krishna for his pleasure. So in the spiritual world, every living entity, regardless of form, has a direct personal relationship with Krishna. Krishna interacts with them very nicely in a way that gives them pleasure. And they also please Krishna. So they work in a cooperative fashion, helping one another to please Krishna. And whereas in the material world, we compete with one another so that I can become higher at your expense. And we see this in office politics and governmental politics, and we can see it in our own lives if we're honest. So if we want to develop a particular relationship, Krishna gives us guidance in Bhagavad Gita. Ye etam mam prapadyante tam taiva jamyam mama vartmana vartante manasyam parthasarvasha. As they surrender unto me, I reward accordingly. Everyone follows my path in all respects. So Srila Prabhupada explains, not here but elsewhere, on this very subject matter, that we cannot become Mother Yasoda, we cannot become Nanda Maharaj, we cannot become like them, but we should follow in their footsteps. Because if we try to become like them in our neophyte condition, we will simply become bewildered. I remember in the 1970s, I heard about a godbrother who joined very, very early, in the 60s, and somehow or another he had the conception or misconception that his eternal form, his Siddhadeha, was that of a peacock. And so he started practicing dancing like peacocks dance. And the devotee saw this, and what are you doing? What is this? Oh, this is my eternal form. And they wrote to Prabhupada, and Prabhupada said, no, this is nonsense. We should not try to imagine what our eternal relationship is with Krishna. We should serve our spiritual master so nicely, as first-class servants, that when he becomes pleased with us, he will reveal to each and every one of us what our relationship is. We cannot try and figure it out. As a matter of fact, in 1976, during Srila Prabhupada's fourth and last visit to New Vrindavan, I was at an evening darshan. Well, I was at every evening darshan, but I cheated. Went to everyone. One of the evening darshans I was on, a good friend of mine, we worked in the same department, the plow department. We worked with the horses to raise the food for Krishna's cows. He was sitting, boom, 2 people over from me, which is significant when you hear the story. After Srila Prabhupada, he would sometimes speak at evening darshans, but they were very informal affairs, not like a class. But he would just pick a topic and he would speak on it and expound on it a little bit, and then he would ask for questions. And this godbrother, who shall remain unnamed because he's a friend and he's still living in the he raised his hand and he wanted to ask Prabhupada about his Siddhadeha. And he began asking the question, Prabhupada, what is my Siddhadeha? And Prabhupada cut him off mid-sentence. Just stopped him. And he rebuked him in such a fashion, and Prabhupada said that first we have to regularly, properly, without offenselessly chant our 16 rounds every day. And simultaneous to that, we have to follow the 4 regular principles perfectly without falling down. And until you come to those 2 platforms, forget all about Siddhadeha. Now, Prabhupada did not speak it as friendly as I did. He was like, and it was like, this devotee was only 2 people over. Look and see how close the second person is to you. And it was just like, you don't want to be anywhere near Srila Prabhupada when he is angry and expressing in that mood. So the point is that we eternally have a relationship with him, but that relationship is now covered. And we're not able to understand what it is or access it until we become properly purified. Otherwise, if we try to understand it prior to our being qualified, we'll simply create a disturbance for not only ourselves, but for our God brothers, God sisters, other devotees. We'll create a disturbance mentally, intellectually, and just make a fool of ourselves, and so many different things. So when we are properly qualified, then it will be revealed to us. Now, an analogy that I like to give, because it's very illustrative of this principle, is that suppose you have a grandfather who's very wealthy. And do you understand the concept of a will, a written will? Everyone, explain it back there for devotees who don't understand. In a will, it's a legal contract where somebody will legally give something to you in the future. And there are certain requirements that you, as the recipient, have to meet. It might be age. You have to become an adult. If you're 7 years old at the time, you can't get this. Or it may be a marital status. It may be an educational level, something like that. But there are restrictions and requirements that you have to fulfill. Now, whatever he's left for you, it's yours, but until you qualify yourself, you can't access it. Nobody else has access to it also. It's held for you. But if you never qualify yourself, you never receive it. So it's in a similar fashion, when we qualify ourselves by the purificatory process of the Krishna consciousness, then by the mercy of the spiritual master, we are qualified to receive so many blessings, so many gifts coming from the Lord through the agency of the bona fide spiritual master. And that means that our consciousness becomes purified so that we can properly receive the gifts that the spiritual master is wanting to give to us. And in this connection, I would like to share a personal experience. Not that I'm patting myself on the back and I'm like, oh, look how good he is. No, it's just so that you can understand this important principle. There's a verse in Bhagavad Gita, 438. Adviti pranipatena pariprashnena stvaya upadekshyanti te jnanam jnanina sattvadarshana. And there's one word that I want to speak about from this particular verse. The verse, for those of you who are not aware, is that to learn about Krishna, to learn the absolute truth of Krishna's spiritual nature, there's only one way. You have to approach a bona fide spiritual master. And then Krishna gives the requirements and like that. But one other word that he uses is vidhi. It's the second word in the verse, Viddhi. And that word in this connotation means try. Just try to learn the truth by approaching a bona fide spiritual master. Now, that word is so significant, it is so very important, in that without trying, we have nothing. We will make as much advancement as the light fixture on the ceiling, who's taking darshan of Krishna every day, who's hearing every class, but he's always in the temple, but there's no consciousness there. So if we try with whatever we have, this doesn't matter. There's no material impediments to pure devotional service. But if we simply try, Krishna who is within your heart is Paramama, he will see that this man, he is trying as much as possible to the best of his abilities, and let me help him. It was 2009, I believe, Srila Prabhupada's Disappearance Day Festival. I was living in Minneapolis, Minnesota, which the local people there affectionately call Mini-Snota because it gets so much snow and so much cold. It's not unusual in wintertime for the temperature to hit minus 25, minus 30 Celsius. Serious cold. Anyhow, I wanted to have a nice program on Srila Prabhupada's Disappearance Day. Nice. I just use that word. I want you to do something nice for Srila Prabhupada. I did not define, okay, nice means this, that. No, just nice. And nice program means that there needs to be prasadam distribution, prasadam, bhoga offered to the spiritual master, prasad distribution, speak nice words about the spiritual master and glorification, take care of, serve the devotees very nicely, like that. I'm not a cook. Okay, I can make a really nice piece of toast, and I can make a great bowl of popcorn. But that's about the extent of my cooking ability. I don't know how to cook rice. But I got, Mother Jamuna's cookbook, and okay, I mean, it's this thick, so I went through, okay, let me try and make this. I picked out a half a dozen different preparations, and like that. I tried my best to do it nicely. I'm not trained as a cook, and like that. I tried my best, and then offered it according to my ability. And yeah, we had a nice program. Nothing, from my experience, from my perspective, nothing special. I asked one of the devotees, I said, would you like to sponsor 3 dozen roses for the program, so that everybody can, I want long stem roses, so that part of the program everybody will get a rose, can offer prayer and a rose one by one to Srila Prabhupada, like that. Simple program. And we did. And then later that evening, when I was laying in bed trying to fall asleep, I just felt this, I hesitate to use the word pushing, because it's not a material pushing, but a spiritual pushing in my heart. Go to Vrindavan. Go to Vrindavan. It was like, somebody just like pushing me. Go to Vrindavan. And I told my wife, this is what I'm feeling. Anyhow, long story short, I went, or I came, and I came on a Monday or on a Wednesday. A japa retreat was the first starting. Sachinanda Maharaj, Prabhu, his good wife, Mother Jagatrini. They're starting a 5-day japa retreat in Varshana and Govardhan. Anyhow, I went, and the first day is simply spent in transporting there, getting settled in your room like that. But we had a gathering on the roof of the temple, just a welcome ceremony for Bhakti, not Bhakti. I said his name earlier. Sachinanda Maharaj. You get one of those memories that come and go. Sachinanda Maharaj welcoming everybody, and then after that, went up an hour and a half. We went into the makeshift temple room, and we had Aarti and Kirtans. And when I'm in Kirtan, I chant loudly because I want to get fully engaged in it. I don't have the best voice in the world, and sometimes people will turn around who are in front of me, like, who's this guy? Anyhow, I was chanting as I normally do, and suddenly I started to become, I was overwhelmed with feelings of spiritual emotion. We hear from the Shikshastika prayers. I think it's number 5. My dear Lord, when will my eyes be filled with tears when I'm chanting your holy name? When will I experience ecstasy? When will the hairs of my body stand on end at the recitation of your name? By the mercy of my spiritual master, and by the mercy of Srimati Radharani, I was given a taste of these things. And it was simply because my understanding, it was simply because I tried to please my spiritual master and his disappearance. So this word vidhi, try, is so important, at least in my understanding, from my experiences. Because we don't have the ability, either materially, resource-wise, strength-wise, intelligence-wise, devotional-wise, bhakti-wise, we don't have the facility, ability to understand Krishna. We don't have the ability to actually please Him. Because what do we have? What can we offer that Krishna needs or wants? So I said earlier, simply our love. So if we try as best we are able, free of ego, just I want to do this for His pleasure. Then, according to our sincerity, according to our surrender, according to how we approach Krishna, Krishna will reward us accordingly. And I'm sharing this with all of you so that you can understand, if this guy can do it, any one of you can. if you simply try to serve your spiritual master just nicely, just humbly. No big grandiose program or big service. And just try with whatever you have. Because we all have something. Even the South Indian Brahmana who was instructed by a spiritual master to read Bhagavad Gita daily, and he was illiterate. He didn't even know what way was up on the book or what way was down. He had the book upside down, and yet he was crying. And the Lord Chaitanya, he blessed him so much because he was trying. He didn't have intelligence, he didn't have ability, he didn't have money, he didn't have education, he didn't have anything materially speaking. But he accepted the order of his spiritual master, full stop. He didn't say, oh, Guru Maharaj, I can't do that. I don't even know how to read. He didn't say that. He didn't take that mood. No, he tried his best. And when Lord Chaitanya saw him and spoke with him, my dear sir, why are you crying? And he said, I can't read. I'm illiterate, but my spiritual master told me to read every day. And when I think that Krishna, the Supreme Personality of God, is serving his devotee Arjuna by driving his chariot for him. It's a menial service. It's a service of a Shudra. And Krishna himself is doing this for his devotee. He said, I just cried thinking of that Krishna is so great. He's so wonderful. He's so powerful. He can do anything. But he takes this menial service. So in that mood, he was just overcome with emotion. And what did Lord Chaitanya say? You have understood Bhagavad Gita. He didn't ask him, how many verses can you quote? How many Sanskrit shlokas do you know? How many years have you been engaged in devotional service? Who's your Guru Maharaj? No, he didn't care about any of these things. He saw that the simple devotee, materially unqualified, had so much gratitude for the simple instruction he was given by his spiritual master. He absorbed himself in that service, regardless of his ability to properly execute that service. He did not care. It does not matter. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, never consider yourself to be the cause of the results of your activities. In other words, we do something and the particular result is there. That result, you are not responsible for that result. That result is given by either, if we are materially engaged, by the modes of material nature, by our karma, by the influence of time, or it's given by the grace and mercy of our spiritual master. Either way, materially or spiritually, we are not responsible for the results. We simply try with the best of our ability without considering, am I qualified, am I unqualified, am I this qualified, am I that qualified, am I this much qualified? No, we're totally unqualified. But understanding that, let me just try. And the spiritual master will be pleased. In Vrindavan in the mid-70s, that was our mood. Just try and serve Srila Prabhupada, try and please him. Vrindavan is one of the very few temples where Srila Prabhupada gave specific instructions on what the purpose, what the goal is, what the activities of Vrindavan should be. What's the main business of Vrindavan? It's cow protection. It's not worshiping the deities. It's not distributing books. It's cow protection. Srila Prabhupada even gave a motto to Vrindavan. You know what a motto is? M-O-T-T-O? It's an expression. This is the purpose of whatever. It's a motto. So with whatever abilities and resources we have, we simply, humbly try to please the spiritual master. That is the total sum and substance of service to Krishna. Because we do not know Krishna. We only know our spiritual master, and we hear from him about service to Krishna. And if we try to follow that, we mold our life in such a way that the words and instructions of the spiritual master become our life and soul. That is how we live. That is what we do. The other things that I want to do or like to do or don't want to do, they have no bearing. We do what the spiritual master wants us to do, whether we like it or not, and we do it wholeheartedly, and we do it with great dedication. And the spiritual master will be very pleased. When the spiritual master is pleased, Krishna is pleased, and when both of them are pleased, we will be benedicted to an unlimited. I will stop there. Oh, I was going to stop at 8:45. Anybody have any questions, comments, reflections they would like to share? I'm not used to the silence. You know, now when there's a sign, stop speaking at 8:45. And my wife, who organizes the speakers for Bhagavatam, she's in there every day, and she will be looking at the speaker. Not only that, but nice. And so then we have a nice discussion, and we share our understanding, we share questions, because I have a question, and many of you might have the same question, and so it's like that. And so we can get a deeper understanding of what was said, what was presented in the scriptures, and what was presented by the speaker, and like that. Anyhow, it's no questions means no questions. So I will stop now. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.